Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is upon us once again. PSGL back on your screens. Welcome to the show. It's the placement show. It's where you'll see all your favourite drivers listed into their prospective tiers. And I'm not alone. You're joining me, George Morgan, alongside it's Alamonda, that's Mark, and Big C, the big league director, Big C. Connor, welcome, guys.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and I can't wait for this. I can see the live chat is already buzzing. I have to say, it's great to see you all here as well, folks. Welcome to this stream tonight. It's going to be absolutely out of this world. You're going to be seeing the placements as we go through them. Obviously, plenty for us to go through. It's going to certainly take us a lot of time to go through each individual one, but obviously we want to try and talk about what a hellacious time it's been for PSGL, Connor. Certainly, you've had your work cut out. In the past week or so, certainly with the amount of sign-ups we have, it's been absolutely unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean it's been off the scale in terms of like PSG. I've been here since 2013, so I've been through it all. I've been through the dark times, and these are the good times. Initially we had 900 sign-ups, so we had 960 in total. Obviously, wow. That number is brought down quite a lot by the people who don't do the evaluation and time trial, or people who just drop out naturally. So it's more like 450 that we had to place in the end, or towards 500. So yeah, it's been unprecedented. I think we're gonna have 18 tiers, so 13 on PlayStation and 5 on PC. The level is higher than ever. The PC tier is like, we've never seen anything like it in league racing. So yeah, for myself and for PSGL, it is just absolutely remarkable. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here, and it's gonna be a great hour.
Yeah, we owe you a lot of thanks, people at home, for all your dedicated support. It's been absolutely tremendous. I mean, last season we broke so many records. It was out of this world. We broke another one as well in pre-season as well. I think we got to hark back to it. I think it's probably the first time ever in F1 league racing that a stream has ever hit 14,000 views, Connor. And doesn't that just go to show that the length of development PSGL has gone through, and certainly the development within league racing itself as well?
I think obviously the Pro Series is getting bigger, the prize pools are getting bigger and bigger, but also like the player base is just getting bigger and bigger. Like the younger generation, like all the top drivers are like 18 or younger, all rising through. So yeah, and obviously I think PSG as a whole sort of taken the role of, let's say, AOR in the past of being, let's say, the mainstream, the main league to be at. So we've just got to keep doing what we're doing, just keep giving the drivers and the fans what they want, really. So yeah, the fans, the drivers, they all believe in PSGL. So we've just got to keep up what we're doing, and yeah, as a team, we're doing everything right. Having people like CC Brain doing graphics, and obviously Mark next to us put so much time into our beautiful intro that George forgot. So yeah, it's a great team effort, and yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, honestly, guys, my fault entirely. And we got Mark here as well, as I said before. And Mark, you've witnessed, obviously, many echelons of league racing yourself. And I know you're heavily involved, certainly on the creative side. You're a great commentator as well. So you're very heavily invested into the league racing community. But just looking back and now, do you see lots of contrasting differences between where we are now in league racing to where it was when you first entered it as such?
Absolutely. I think if you look back at, Formula One in itself, Bernie Ecclestone, when he ran the sport, he didn't really take the young audience very seriously. Social media interaction was highly minimal. I mean, the YouTube channel for F1, frankly, was a joke under his stewardship. But when you see the likes of Drive to Survive and other media items such as that, it's really encouraging that younger audience to come into the sport, and I think that's also helped grow the sort of popularity of the F1 games as well. And that is why the esports series and leagues such as ourselves have grown to such heights as they are compared to previous years.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to see the talents coming through. We see new ones year on year. But Connor, I know we spoke about it before. PC made its grandiose debut last season, and none of us really expected too much. We thought there would be a few teething situations. Obviously, myself and Jack Canan came in fresh-faced and bought instantly into what you wanted to achieve with the PC League. But I don't think any of us quite expected for it to kick off the way it did.
No, I mean, I think just having the drivers involved, having the esports champion Yana Watmere, Barry, Danny, all these sorts of guys trusting us coming to PSGL, because they were in established leagues. So RRL was a fantastic league at the time, and they were doing great things. But they trusted us, they believed in what we were producing. Obviously, having you and Jack on board was integral in terms of the production side and making it a professional, let's say, product, as it were. But yeah, I think the racing spoke for itself. We had arguably the best title battle in league racing history between obviously Barry Boromand and Jarno Opmeer. So the racing spoke for itself, but also the little things we did with the social media stuff, the previews you did, the graphics on screen that we had, all this just came together, and it was just like, yeah, beyond our expectations, to be honest. So Dylan Warren was pestering me, oh, do PC, and I was like, what's the rush?
Yeah.
PC isn't going to take us to the next level, but it somehow did. So
yeah,
it's just, you can't predict these things.
I think it was one of those seasons where I think you could probably go 10 years into the future and then happily look back at it. You could watch that entire series, and I've tried to structure the YouTube channel in that way as well, just to allow people to go watch a whole playlist of races. You've got the entire season there you can watch back. It's brilliant. Even now, you watch it back, it's timeless. And the battle between Jarno and Barry was incredible throughout the season. And I felt that CC Brain did such a cracking job with the battle, the best video that he did as part of the PSGL Netflix style series akin to Drive to Survive, and that put it together beautifully, didn't it? It was almost like it was a melody in song, as if it was written by Beethoven himself. I was watching it back, and it was just tremendous, and the audience really did. It captured the imaginations, didn't it, Connor? And certainly given CC Brain's development of that sort of Drive to Survive feature film that we saw, it just summed up the season perfectly, didn't it?
It did indeed. I think it deserved something like that. The storylines, the action, the battles, just the hype it got at the end of the season was just like insane. Like you can't write things like that really. So yeah, I mean, a big credit to CC Brain. He never told me actually about the project until quite late on. I didn't even know he was doing it. It was just completely off his own back. And yeah, I mean, I've just got to plug CC a bit more, to be honest, because the amount of effort he does put in. Like I do pay him a little bit each month for his work, but I need to pay him a lot more for the quality, but also the quantity of good stuff he actually does. So yeah, a big love to Cornelius. He's a great guy, and like I say, today and our progress wouldn't be possible without him.
No, not at all. So I want to see loads of comments praising CC Brain in the live chat, folks. He probably doesn't get enough credit for the hard work he does as well as the many other admins that we have here at PSGL. The likes of Macu Manuelos, who joined us as well. Kryptonite, who is also part of the league directors. Is there any other names, Connor, that you want to shout out before we get right into the nitty-gritty of this broadcast?
I think you've covered like my main right-hand men, as it were, but also credit to yourself and Jack. You guys certainly put a lot more effort in than the standard commentators. Also, yeah, Jake, I don't know if you mentioned Jake Warrior, he's also a director and really in charge of the commentary side of things. And also, obviously, Alamonda's, experience in terms of commentary, but also his video production. It is world-class, so it is a great team left. And also, there's so many admins, so many people involved. It's a proper team game, and, that's the great thing about it. We've all got our own jobs, our own education, our own careers, but in the evenings or when we've got time, we put our love and passion into PSGL or our own leagues and esports teams. So that's what's so great about it.
Definitely, absolutely. Well, we're all looking forward to seeing where next season goes. And have we got any targets in mind for next season, Connor? Anything that you're expecting? Is there anything that you think in the back of your mind? Is there any further landmarks that you want to take PSGL to in the coming season?
I think just to continue on the trajectory that we're currently on, certainly from the PC side of things, is continue to be the place, the home of, let's say, where the esports guys want to race, and give them, let's say, a platform to produce their own content, obviously with their streams and their content. Just continue the trajectory that we're on. And obviously on the PlayStation side, we've seen, let's say, Wilson Hughes and Valentin Bruffre, Matthias, and there's a few others, Diamond Shooter as well, have been on PlayStation, and they look ready to be the next esports stars. So yeah, I think PSGL want to be the grassroots of esports, like the guys I mentioned, but also to house these esports drivers. So let's say to give them a competitive platform after the esports series. They say, okay, we've done the esports series. What we're going to do for the next 8 months? You know what? We're going to do PSGL, and we want to beat Jarno and all that buzz around it. So yeah, just keep what we're doing and maybe get some sponsors on board, and that's probably the next step, I'd say. Brilliant. Great shoot for the stars here at PSGL. And obviously now this leads me on to what we're going to be doing now. And obviously I want to hear from you folks. Are you ready for us to take a look at the grids for this coming season? Look at the placements that we're going to be witnessing. Hammer the live chat. I want to see plenty of yeses. Do you want us to kick this off? Please hammer that live chat. Obviously you put a lot of work into the tiers, Connor. Are you ready to sort of dish out all your hard work on these people? Yeah, I'll just give a little bit of an explanation of, let's say, what's gone on behind the scenes and, let's say, how we've sort of processed and placed drivers. So, obviously, we've had a lot of sign-ups and we've taken into consideration their TT times, their evaluation times in conjunction with the days they can race and the assists they use. So we've placed drivers basically as quickly and as efficiently as we can. So for example, if you use ABS, we're not running any ABS enabled tiers. So if you're an ABS and signed up to PC, you've not been placed, for example, and a lot of these drivers have been notified. So it's a standard sort of procedure. It's not perfect, and we have learned a few lessons, let's say, to take forward, but we've done our best. So, you know, if you're not happy, just be mature about it. You can speak to us, but yeah, just please, you know, act mature, and, you know, we'll act mature back and be nice. So if you've been a dick, then, you know, we will be bigger dicks back, and I assure you, you know, there's not a bigger, let's say, dick than me at times. So yeah, just be nice, and yeah, just appreciate the effort, the tens of hours that we've all put into this.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think now, without any further ado, I think the plan is to start now with the PC tier, and we're going to be starting with F5, I believe, Connor. And so as we make our way over to this one, as you can see, it's PC F5 placements, folks, and just a few thoughts on this one, Connor, because naturally now we're gone from one solitary tier now to 5 tiers, and that just magnifies the amount of people we've had interested in this sort of division.
Yeah, exactly. I think PC, we always want to expand, but I guess PC, there's less casual racers on the platform, so we're sort of trying to incorporate that. It's going to be line only, and it's going to be Wednesdays at 8 PM. So let's say we've got some, let's say, unfamiliar faces, but we want to accommodate, let's say, more casual racers. I think next season I will expand a little bit more and allow some of the guys who missed out, who maybe use ABS, use automatic gears, to actually open up PC to be more casual, because I've noticed a lot more people are moving to PC because the PC gameplay is so much better, let's say, than Xbox, which is currently undrivable. So yeah, it's more of a casual tier with a lot of, let's say, unfamiliar faces, but again, it's sort of the route that we're going down.
Yeah, well, no surprises here. Now, are you ready for me to make the grand unveiling of PCF5, folks? Hammer the live chat. Are you ready? Hit up the yeses. I want to see them. Come on. Light them up, folks. Here we go. Ready, set, ping. There it is, folks. There you can see the grid tiers. You've got drivers from 1 to 20 with a sprinkling of reserves as well. We've got number 1, Michael Marinuzzi, as well as number 2, MRT Flavio. Number 3, ET8 Taz. Number 4, ELG Rasebo, or Rasado, I believe that is. Quad in number 5. Number 6 is AMS Zola. Number 7, Felipe Nunez. Number 8, Lucala Matina. Number 9, we got Podio KM4G. Number 10, Moonfall. Number 11, FVR Dan. Number 12 is Mugen Sim Racing. I believe that's Fakir. I think that's in number 12. Number 13, Timur Zalakanovic. Number 14, VL Gabizem. Number 15, we got Khalil Rickford. Number 16, Wata Patowski. Number 17, 3 Gloves. Number 18, Goat Tudor. With number 19, Restive. And 20 goes to Connor Scott Eddy. And we got reserves as well. We got Vinny Cass, Robbie Van, Regaz, as well as Dubai, TTV, TRL Minty, CJ, and Juandi Tadio. So any particular names that really stand out in amongst those, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to give a bit of a shout out to 3 Gloves. He's the man behind the scenes. He's been in PSGL, I think, longer than I, at the start at least, and he's responsible for our fantastic, innovative bot system. So, you know, when you sign up with the commands, that is exclusive to PSGL, created, coded by our own 3 Gloves. So, all credit down to the 3 Gloves, and to be fair, I'm not going to lie, all the other names are, let's say, new to PSGL, but I think that's what's so great about what we were doing right now. We're opening ourselves up to a wider community, new names to write their own stories and their start their own esports journey. So that's great news. Yeah,
certainly PSGL, the best place to commence certainly a career such as this. And Mark, obviously looking at this as well, it's certainly a great foundation for a lot of these new drivers now who are maybe just jumping onto the PC platform to sort of establish themselves in league racing. And certainly this, you know, Connor's right, isn't he? It's the start of a journey.
Absolutely. I think the PC format is quite untapped in its potential because, you know, the Codemasters F1 games have for many years been dominated by the Xbox and PlayStation platforms, and the PC, you know, until very recently, kind of the neglected child of the community. But now with the rise of esports and with, you know, cool sim setups and drivers on PC playing with those, you now have that potential to expand into that, and that's what we're seeing here with these 5 tiers. And I dare say we will see more PC tiers the way it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great to see all the new blood coming into PSGL, and certainly we'll look forward to seeing how they get on in their respective seasons. You never know, in the future we might be seeing these guys tackle the very best in the business of esports. I think now we're going to roll on to PCF4 as well. That's next on the list. And there you can see PCF4 placements. And let's take a look who we have under the cover. Here we go. Number 1, WR Bryn. Number 2, Shazoo Bogin. Number 3, Eduardo Gil. Number 4, Sync BYTR. I'm guessing that's Berta or something. Number 5 is Gabe Lawand. I've seen him before. Number 6, VRT Yanni Tripkov. Number 7, Igor Sales, 73. Number 8 is Sync Jinx, 248, I believe that says. Number 9, VRT Danny Coe. Number 10, Mahali Gaspar. Number 11, Shazoo Dominic. Number 12, XL Velo. Number 13, Days Rhombus. Number 14, Savage. Number 15, Korndornigolu. Number 16, Tom Daniel. Number 17, Tim Alster. Number 18, Red Tox. Number 19, Spies. With number 20, Higgsy. And we got reserve drivers in Danestar, BGR Kevin, VL Fernandez, BGR Fass, PPR Topjack, and VL Gavisa. And what really stood out in amongst these guys for you, Connor?
Yeah, Gus, I don't know if you saw, but I think they're saying I'm a bit quiet, so I don't know if that's something to look into while I talk. But
knocked you up now. You're fine.
All right, lovely. But yeah, I think a quick, WR Bryn, I think deserves a lot of credit. He's made the move from, he was in F5 from last season, now he's in F4, so yeah, it's I think Bryn deserves a lot of credit, and he's going to be one of the league admins, always reliable, always let's say he's always there for the league. So yeah, a lot of credit to him. Also to Days Rhombus, he's a bit of a Xbox Calls hero when we did a season on season 27. So I think those two sort of stand out for me early on. But again, it's a bit like F5 where we got a lot of new talent. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, superb. I mean, as well for these guys as well, it's similar to F4 in a way. Obviously, this similar to F5 in a way. Obviously, a lot of these guys starting their journeys on PC as well. Mark, but I'm looking at some of them in particular as well. There's a couple of them who've sort of come over from Xbox, like Days Rhombus, as we've seen, and plenty of others as well. So, I suppose it's a good opportunity for them to really get established, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's often the case with the first season of a brand new game. You're not quite sure what the pecking order is of these, tiers lower down from the top tier. And suddenly you'll get a couple of, unexpected stars who will shoot up, and then the next season they'll be sort of in the top 2 tiers. So, I'm expecting some good things from the 2 VRT drivers, actually, because I have seen them in a handful of races recently, and they've looked pretty quick. So I think they'll be up there on this F4 grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll certainly look forward to seeing how they get on as we make our way into the new season. Next up, of course, we've got PCF3, which is going to be next as well. So as we shuffle our way over to the next one, now things are going to start to get very nitty-gritty. As you can see, PCF3 placements. Here we go, folks. Let's check them out. Number 1, we have Shazoo Vexit. Number 2, Sync Alex O'Grady. Number 3, Carter Lundy. Number 4, VRT Barricade. Number 5, Modesto Mena. Number 6, Sergi Quaisda. Number 7, Leonard. Number 8, we got Kundam. Number 9, we got Jont F1. Number 10, Shazoo Kersey. Number 11, VRT Sandro. Number 12, Tvetskov. Number 13, Sync Jake Finch. Number 14, VSR Corney. Number 15, Luca. Number 16, Sync JC. Number 17, Pablo Hoglar. Number 18, PPR Damien. Number 19, Shazoo Nomzi. Number 20, Alp Ozkea. And in reserve, we have Lefted, LR Sally, as well as Mentalism Yon, 1 Second, and Daniel Rocker. And this is sort of where we start to find some of the quicker drivers now, Connor, because I can already recognise a few of those names, including the likes of Pablo Hoglar. But one guy in particular that really caught our eye, I certainly think towards the tail end of last season, young 12 years of age, karting world champion Alex O'Grady as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had a few outings in F1, didn't he, last season? Really was mixing it with some of the esports drivers, some of the Challengers drivers. So it's great to see Alex O'Grady in this F3 division, which will be Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And also it'll be one of the streams that's commentated by I think it's called Jackson, who's new to PSGL. So yeah, it's a great league. But I mean, I know a lot of people might be a little bit upset that they're in F3, but honestly, guys, just think F1's full of the esports guys. So this is basically a conventional F2 division, really. So there's so much quality, as you say, like Vexit, John TF1, Kersey, VSR Corny, Sink, Jankvich, Pablo Hoglo as well. So there's just so much quality in here. It could be an F2, to be honest. A lot of them could be an F2, which is the sad thing because we can't fit everyone in. But again, like I say, it's an opportunity. Just prove us wrong. Just prove that you deserve to be an F2, because at the end of the day, in league racing, in most walks of life, if you are good, if you're deserving, if you are the best, you'll get where you deserve to be. So it's the same for anyone here. Stick with it, get on with it, and deliver, and you'll get where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the top 3 tiers in the PC division, I mean, you could easily say, and I suppose you could argue the same for F4 and 5 as well, across many other leagues, they would still be considered top tier drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, we have to talk about him. Carter Lundy was expecting F2, and, you know, everyone, you don't always get what you want in your life. He's very young and maybe a little bit spoiled. So, you know what, Carter, you know, if you're listening, just prove us wrong. Prove me encrypted wrong. Win. And yeah, we'll give you the credit and we'll give you a spot in F2 if you win. But if you run away, you're just going to be banned for next season and it won't be, you know, part of this great league. So yeah, that's what I've got to say about that. But yeah, top talent, and I can't wait to see it on Wednesdays. Yeah,
it's going to be really, really interesting. Cannot wait to see how these guys react to certainly being where they are in their tier divisions. Obviously, it's like you say, all of them have points to prove, just like the new guys who have come in to F5 and F4, certainly making the transitions from other platforms as well. And, you know, like we say, we talk about people needing things to prove as well, Mark, but you know, these guys are right on the cusp of being at the top end. So, you know, they just need that little bit of extra spice now. And this is what's going to make F3, I think, more exciting, because they're all fighting to be in that higher echelon and they're all in the same boat. So that is going to make the racing that much more spicier, isn't it?
Yeah, no question. I mean, when Connor revealed the placements to us before we came on the air, F3 on the PC certainly stood out to me. And I was like, yeah, that is definitely one I'm going to tune into on Wednesdays for sure. Although every time I hear Alex O'Grady's age, it makes me feel like I'm about 100 years old, to be honest.
Yeah, no, to be fair, no, he was brilliant, I have to say. When myself and Jack Canham were commentating last season, of course, he came in for a couple of the races at the tail end, and I have to say, he did not let himself down at all. He was absolutely brilliant. A young guy, his age, 12 years of age, tackling the best in the business, a lot of them in the Pro Series that season. He could be a really formidable character out there on track. He has that experience. He will remember tackling those kinds of drivers, and you know, facing them and then all of a sudden come into a whole different paradigm of a grid. Despite it, I mean, you could argue it being F3, but oh no, you've still got to bring that exact same intensity to a grid such as this. It does not change despite being an F3, because the line is impeccably blurred across those top 3 tiers, isn't it? Mark?
Sorry, my mic just went for a second. Yes, absolutely agree with you there. I mean, I think there'll be some shuffling between those three tiers, particularly F2 and F3. In season 30 for sure, because it's so tight, and anyone who sort of disappoints in F2 is going to be vulnerable to one of the talented drivers in F3, that is for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, folks. That's F3 all out on a platform there for you. Next up, we're going to be rolling over to the next one, which is we're going to be touching on the PlayStation tiers now, folks. So we're actually going to be taking a step back. We're going to revisit PC later on, so make sure you stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. So we're going to head over now to the next one, which of course is going to be the PlayStation Tier 5. Now this is where you guys on the Sony platform are now going to be ordered into your tier selection, so you guys will get to see whereabouts you're placed now. So as we now visit PSF5, here are the placements. There you go. Number 1, WSO Ferreira. Number 2, Lakitu 886. Number 3, Bugatti. Number 4, Maxro. Number 5, Tim Ventnik. Number 6, TTG A Kaki. Number 7, Bjorn 575. 8, FRL Terror Racer. Number 9, Mark CP99. Number 10, Cherry Tupai. Number 11, Pipmat. Number 12, Carson Weber 19. Number 13, Zelarus. Number 14, LR Crimbo. Number 15, Ewan Baker. Number 16, Thop Jet Team. Number 17, Cameron Dowd. Number 18, Sink Yoghurt. Number 19, Tactician. Number 20, IFR Black Box. Then in reserve, we have SMM Harry, Fleddy, FNR Hazara, Mr. Mika, as well as Carperson and Zarakea. So I have to say, again, some very, very good up-and-comers on the PlayStation side as well, guys. Connor, has anyone really caught your eye out of that bunch as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to touch on Tactician. He was actually in the F1 tier about a year ago in season 26. Yeah, so it used to be in CRG, you know, really a top consistent performer. But I guess like myself, you know, as the years go on, you've got less time, less effort, less energy, or less passion to really, you know, produce those strong lap times. So I guess Tactician's maybe going through more of a casual, relaxed approach. But, you know, like I said, there's some great talent. Also, one of my good league racing friends for a long time, Kerry Tupai, makes his return to PSGL, which is nice to see. Alongside his good mate Pitmat, and also Bugatti, who was the F2 champion on F1 2019, has gone to no line for this game. Also, he's in the league. So yeah, a lot of quality. And like I say, you know, these tiers are stacked. For the first time in PSGL's history, we've got 5 no assist tiers. So this is the lowest of our no assist tiers, and it's Monday at 8 p.m. So yeah, juicy stuff as always here in PSGL.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be mouth-watering stuff. And I cannot believe that we're seeing Tactician there. You're absolutely right, Connor. I mean, I remember it feels like only like yesterday when he was in Comrade Gaming and, of course, part of CRG, battling in amongst the top end. But great to see him back involved, obviously, in league racing. He did take a little bit of time out, and obviously I don't want to bring out that unfabled word washed by any chance. Of course, there's a common trait in amongst social media, but Mark, obviously, like you say, if you're a guy like Tactician, this is probably the perfect place for you to sort of re-establish yourself, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, because there's a mixture of upcoming talent, as was alluded to earlier, but Tactician, he's a very solid hand to have in any league, really. Very comfortable racecraft wise, and honestly has really good speed. I think often he's almost like Perez like in that his qualifying is not always that impressive, but during the race he gets some cracking results. The other drivers that stand out for me, Bugatti, he was formerly in the top tier, and Lakitu, not too long ago he was in a top 10 in the standings in the top tier on PlayStation side, getting a podium in Mexico in the final round back in season 24. So there's some really strong drivers here. I think it's going to be a very competitive tier. But yeah, if Tactician can get anywhere near some of his, past glory, not even that long ago, then yeah, he could potentially be the driver to beat in this tier.
Yeah, definitely. And we look forward to seeing how he gets on as well. Naturally, it's been a bit of a change with the new game. Obviously, people not able to maybe do things that they were able to do on F1 2020. And it's like, and I know I always akin it to real F1. It's almost like when the new development's coming for a new season, you have to adjust to it. Not all the drivers can get the hang of it. We see it a little bit with Daniel Ricciardo this season, for example, who I think is struggling with his McLaren car. But there you have it, folks. That's the F5 grid, no assists as well. And they will be staged on Mondays at 8 p.m. So we'll look forward to seeing how those guys get on as well. Next up on the list as well is F4. So we're going to be shuffling our way over to the next one now, and obviously going up yet another tier. And we're looking forward to seeing who's going to be placed in this one. So brace yourself, folks. Here we go. Number 1, it's Toxic Tomato. Number 2, Slimbo 02 as well. Number 3, TTG Trinity. Number 4, SMM Shay Nevke, as well as number 5, TTG Knuth. Number 6 is Furhan Racer. Number 7, VER Shender. Number 8, FRL Rom, as well as number 9, F1 Philip MD. Number 10, TTG is that Aries or something like that? Yeah, Aries. Number 11, Ecos Martin, as well as number 12, Symbolics. Number 13, Jax Teremizo. Number 14, LR Dvidek. Number 15, ET8 Gustav. Number 16, Rudy. Number 17, we have XXDV19XX. 18, we have Komal Jabraka, as well as 19, MES Koala. Number 20 is JR Latus. And then in reserve, we have, I'm guessing that's Hamilton there as well, and TTG KJXLL, as well as IFR Noah, Zorani, and Cohen as well, making up the final lot on the reserves. But some very familiar names in there as well, Connor, and certainly those looking to try and repeat maybe past form. Do you think they will sort of gain that same previous form on the new game?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what TTG Knuth can do. Actually, he actually won the Race of Champions, which had like Wilson Hughes and a few other top drivers like Gamer, COG Gamer Race. So yeah, TTG Knuth, I think will be one to watch. Also, Toxic Tomato, he's the 2-time F2 champion, but he's gone to the wheel now, hence why he's a little bit lower down than expected. And also, one of the reserves is, you've probably seen him on Twitter, he's at CRL Hamilton, the deluded Lewis Hamilton fan. So, yeah, he's a reserve for the league. Obviously, he's a bit of a wild guy. He was on Xbox, obviously, back in the day. His heyday was F1 2016, so good to see him on PlayStation. So, yeah, some new faces, obviously, but also some very familiar faces as well.
Yeah, I mean, some of the names that certainly stand out for me, certainly Rudy as well, the likes of Cohen as well. Furhan Racer, I've seen him in the past. He's certainly a very competitive, almost a journeyman, I would say, in league racing himself. ETA Gustav as well, I've seen him in the past. Some very familiar faces, and I would say they were probably knocking around this kind of a tier last season as well. So they're certainly used to these sort of parameters, aren't they, I think, in this league? And that, again, is going to make it even closer, I think, again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than ever before. Like we've touched on with the PC tiers, a lot of these guys could be in F3 or could be in F5. That's how much competition, how much quality we have on the PlayStation platform. I do think PlayStation platforms, let's say, got the most drive in terms of quantity as well. So yeah, a lot of quality, and I'm excited to see. Let's see how it goes on Monday nights at 7, and it'll be commentated on by Jake, who's our league director, and Felix. So a great commentary team for a great league.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly this is coming up towards the higher echelons of PlayStation as well, Mark. And obviously you have certainly a lot more expertise in that side. Obviously you're commentating the Tier 1 side yourself. But what have these guys got to do to really make it here? Do you think is it such a larger jump to get up to the next step at F3? Or is it a case they just need to find that little something special?
Yeah, so I think when you're getting towards the top tiers of any league, let alone PSGL, consistency becomes the most important thing over speed. You know, you see countless fast drivers in like lower tiers, but they sort of lack that sort of composure to grab the results. That you often see these, ridiculously good lap 1 pace in qualifying, and then by like lap 5 or 6 they've retired or had some sort of calamities, and that's what makes really the difference between those in, say, tier 4 and 5 and those who are in the top tiers. So they're the ones, especially like the younger, less experienced drivers, that's what they have to learn, and this is the best place to do it in these sort of tiers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're now going to head up now to the certainly the higher end tiers now in PlayStation. Next stop is going to be F3, and this, of course, is where things start to get a little bit juicy. I have to say, we're going to look forward to bringing you this one. Let's go through the drivers. Number 1 is Schumacher. Number 2, we have Shazoo Joey. Number 3 is Kryptonite. Number 4, Pat Schneider. Number 5 is SMM Loney. Number 6, Ecos Menno. Number 7, S2V Lorry. Number 8 is the Dutch Missile. Number 9, LR Margalit. Number 10, VER Devin. Number 11, It's to Kush. Number 12, FRL Ginger. Number 13, IFR Tom Rob. Number 14, QVR Cortez. Number 15, LR Ablaze. Number 16, Lewis. Number 17, Ecos Passassin. Number 18, MNT Kilcree. Number 19, WOR Falk. Number 20, RAC Aroka. And looking at the reserves, we got ADRT Betuxi, as well as SEM12. And then looking down, MNT Smash 68, Jesper Barneveld as well, and Ratal Stifler. And certainly some very familiar names, including the one in the admin team as well, Kryptonite as well. There, Connor.
Yeah, great to see Kryptonite retain his spot in F3. He's always a little bit short of, let's say, those top 2 divisions, but yeah, very consistent, very solid, safe pair of hands. And yeah, I look forward to see what Kryptonite can do. And also, I think we've got to give a shout out to Shazoo Joey. I'm sure we all saw the video on Twitter across the British Grand Prix weekend where he was actually banned from the league, but he asked the former BBC F1 presenter Jake Humphrey to basically address me in the video. So yeah, the only reason Joey's back is because of Jake Humphrey. So yeah, I mean Joey's a great guy, and I didn't want to ban him, but rules are rules. But yeah, great that he's back, and also Schumacher as well, who was in the Challengers. So yeah, some real quality, and yeah, like I say, so many drivers could be in F2, but here we are.
Yeah, well, I would like to personally apologise to Tom Robbo as well. I accidentally called his name IFR Tom Rob. The words are so tiny on my screen here, man. Don't worry about it. It's Tom Robbo. I know, don't worry. Apologies for that. But yeah, no, absolutely amazing. I did catch that as well. Shazoo Joey getting that Twitter video from Jake Humphries. That was actually a very... It was quite a moment, to say the least. And certainly, I suppose, great advertising for PSGL as well, Connor.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. I think the BBC era is probably, obviously, I was a bit younger than, like, early teens, so it's sort of like, yeah, Eddie Jordan, David Cawthorne, Jake Humphrey was just the perfect trio, the perfect coverage. So I do feel a bit sorry for, let's say, the younger fans nowadays who have to sit through Johnny Herbert's and Paul de Resta's nonsense every weekend. So yeah, obviously, yeah, like I say, I wouldn't have unbanned Joey. Gus was the video. I know he's mature, he's a great guy, and he's a good racer as well. So there was that as well. So yeah. I'm not going to complain. Any publicity is good publicity. So, yeah.
So, Joey, you think on a hunt for redemption, do you think?
He doesn't seem as competitive this game. I think he is actually on the pad, and the pad doesn't seem quite as good. But perhaps when they add the update to reduce the car performance, a bit more understeer in the car, might actually help him. But yeah, I think a little bit of pace needs to be found for Joey, because he was in F2 before he got banned and actually got a podium. Then he just got banned. So I do think he's not as quite as good as 2020. But like I say, things could shift when the performance update comes at the end of the month with the more drag and less downforce.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll certainly see if it helps him or hinders him. We'll have to wait and see. How about yourself, Mark? Any eye catchers from what you can see on that list?
Yes, I mean, obviously, if Joey ends up winning the F3 Championship because of Jake Humphrey, that could be potentially a controversy, but maybe not. Well, I mean, you look at, the name obviously stands out for obvious reasons, but Schumacher, he had flirtation with the top tier of PlayStation in the past with some decent results, but then it just didn't work out there. So, yeah, he's probably thinking, yeah, maybe I'll have another crack at getting to the top tier. But, yeah, I mean, this is a really competitive field. There's a lot of esports squads, players here who can potentially get into F2. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I think looking at it, there's like a group of 5 or 6 drivers, which, I'm not going to name them all because spoilers, who I think will be like the main players in this championship, and the rest will be, trying to break into that top 6.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is where you start to get up to the points where, the esports teams start looking at some of these drivers as well for the future. You sort of get your younger candidates sort of get, they can get assisted to get to that next level. And this is the great thing about esports teams, and when they can see a little bit of quality in a field. Do you think this is where these sorts of grids come into play? Certainly where you get to the likes of F3, F2, you're on the cusp of getting to the point of, to the top level. The esports teams, I think, see value. Would you agree in that, in developing that sort of talent?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, they've got to develop them from somewhere, and getting them early, into these sort of games, because, the esports market in general is so competitive. If they're sort of taking an interest in F1 and they're good at it, and if you don't grab that, then they're going to go take that talent to, another game series entirely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll look forward to seeing if any of these can grab it by the scruff of the neck. And now, folks, brace yourself, because the next one we're going to show is PSF1. So who's excited for this one? And I want to see all your comments in the live chat for this one. I'd say it's going to be very, very special. We've never seen such a competitive season in PSGL about to get underway. So naturally, I want to see as many comments in the chat as possible, folks. Are you ready for the unveiling of PSF1, folks? Hit us up. Come on. List it up. We want to see it. Let's go. I'm hearing a lot of let's goes. Are you ready to go? Here we go. Number 7. We're crossing over. Here we go. PSF1 placements. This is where it gets real, folks. Ready, set, go. Here they are. Number 1, VSR Duncan. Number 2, VSR Juiced. Number 3, CRG Blizzard. Number 4, CRG Midnight. Number 5, CRG Gamer. Number 6, Shazoo Michi. Number 7, WSO Suso. Number 8, Casper 24F1. Number 9, TTG Christmas. Number 10, VRT Young Power. Number 11, FVR ISM XIBS. Sorry if I said that wrong. Number 12, Will LG. Number 13, Shazoo Oggiano. Number 14, VSR Xander. Number 15, Asakome. Number 16, VRT M Short. Number 17, VRT Jorge. Number 18, Danny, is that Danny? I'm guessing that's Danny Rick 07. Number 19, Ope Facilio. Number 20, Jaquita. And then in reserve, we have CRG Benjamin, VSR Jordine, and also OP Fed FM, I'm guessing that says. But amazing grid order there, folks. That is literally, you couldn't get a better Tier 1 grid than that. Incredible stuff. I mean, obviously, the usual humdinger between VSR and CRG. Obviously, the battle has raged on between those esports teams now for such a long time. And we witnessed a phenomenal grand finale last season, didn't we? Where Duncan, I believe, took Wilson Hughes all the way to the end, Connor.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how he did it, because I think Wilson, in terms of raw speed, was a good bit ahead. But had a bit of a tricky start to the season. But I think that just shows how difficult and how bonkers some of the early races were in season 28 with Bahrain Short and Singapore. But yeah, we have lost obviously the likes of Matthias, Fast Stuff, Diamond. Obviously, Wilson's going to be moving to PC eventually, and a few others. Obviously, Danny was with us about a year ago. But like I say, Duncan, Used, Blizzard, Midnight, Gamer, and also some of these newer guys like the VRT boys, M Short and George. They're absolutely, they're rapid. Like, they're absolutely mega. M Short, especially MTT's in the top 3. So yeah, like I say, I think times have moved on a little bit. Have we got the same qualities we did in season 27 or season 26? I don't think we do. But these guys are here to prove themselves. They're here on merit, and they've got the pace. And we may be losing some of, let's say, the more established steady eddies like Ash Best, Fabi, Recon, and so on. But like I say, these guys, they're very fast. But I think they will be a little bit fragile at times. Because why the likes of Blizzard, Use, and Duncan will comfortably be the top 3, I suppose, at the end of the season, in my opinion, anyway. But this is racing, and anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's one name in particular that grabs me. In fact, there's a couple there in my eyes. Obviously, I've had the fortune of commentating a few of these in other tiers. I mean, Young Power, I commentated on him previously as well, BRT Young Power, and he's almost making a grand step up. Almost into this sort of a field, and it's great because he really had a great turn of foot at the end of the previous game. So a real big shot on the arm for a lot of these guys who are just venturing into the top tier for the first time. And you can imagine there must be a few nerves starting to edge their way into the field now. I mean, Mark, you're commentating this one this season. This is mind-blowing stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think it's nice to see some new faces. Yes, you've lost some, as Connor mentioned, to PC, but they haven't. It's not like they abandoned. They made that natural progression to the PC format. But you got some familiar faces there. Duncan, he had a really good season, and yes, he missed out on the championship, but he was comfortably clear of the rest of the field in second place. So yeah, I mean, he'll be thinking, Wilson's gone now. I have a really good chance of winning this. But yeah, you'd expect a lot of the championship to be fought between the VSR and CRG drivers, but you cannot underestimate some of the new guys who have come in, how quick they've been immediately on some of the pre-season races. And got to mention someone who he's been around the community so long, you think, oh, okay, well, he must be 40 by now, but no, he's still very young, and he's formerly been in esports for Renault, and that's Casper. Casper is a fantastic racer. I mean, everyone knows that, and he just has horrific luck. I mean, even in the pre-season races, all the glitches were happening to him. So it's just, if he could have one season where he doesn't have that bad luck, he could be up there as well.
Yeah, I mean, he had his chance in F1 Esports, obviously signed to Renault, and there was a lot of, a lot of faith placed on him. And I mean, some drivers can struggle to cope with the pressure, but like you say, he has been very unfortunate on many occasions. Do you think this is a great opportunity for him to sort of regarner that former glory that he had, that former pace, and potentially take it all away with the likes of course, Gamer, CRG Midnight, of course, who's risen through the ranks pretty much everywhere, as well as VSR Duncan, who was in that grand finale. Do you think he's one of the standout ones, or is it a case that it's going to be very competitive to get to that top spot?
Yes, I mean, based on what I've seen so far in the game, I think Casper will be, a very solid pair of hands in the top 10 each race. But I think he's, at the moment at least, lacking a few tens here and there. I mean, I think Midnight's made a step forward for sure. Blizzard, if every race was at France, you'd probably win the championship every year. But unfortunately, it isn't. So but he'll be up there. Two-time champion. He's, arguably already a PSGL legend in himself, and more than capable of winning a third championship. And Gamer, he's probably the greatest driver in PSGL PlayStation history, not to won the championship. He's been a runner-up twice, come desperately close in season 18, which was the first season I commentated on. And a few times after that as well. But juiced again on his day, he can definitely be the fastest on this grid. But I think the most interesting aspect of it, given some of the drivers who've moved on to PC and some who have dropped down to F2, as we'll see, is some of the new guys. I mean, Connor mentioned the VRT drivers. I think they're the two, and Asihome as well, who will be the ones to watch of the new breed, so to speak.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go on, Connor. Yeah, go on. Go for it.
I have to agree. I mean, I think, like I said, we have lost some of the, say, the Ash Best of this world, but like I say, some of these, like the OP guys, I didn't really know who they were until that said last few days, but they're really impressed in the Australia the event we did on Monday, just to test out some of these news guys. So I'm really excited, and it's a great opportunity, like I say, for these new, hungry, lightning fast drivers really just to showcase themselves on Mondays, 8 p.m. We've got a great commentary between Mark, obviously, and Luke, who's a top commentator. So yeah, excited.
Yeah, I've got to say we've seen so many changes at the top end, certainly when it comes to PSGL, and the commentary team, like the drivers, are no different. We've seen so many excellent commentators rise to the top, and it's great to have you yourself up there as well, Mark, returning, and Luke Etheridge, who I go a long way back with in league racing. Me and him have been commentating amateur leagues in the past, right from the very bottom in grassroots, and we've come all the way to this point. You could still argue that it's all grassroots now, still in league racing regardless, but still, we commentated together right through the echelons of league racing, and it's great to be here and be calling it alongside someone as great as yourself as well, Mark, and certainly all the work you've done in terms of the intros, and Luke as well, and certainly many others like Jess Games, and of course the big announcement went out earlier on about King Kodiak as well. We will touch on that as we go through later on into the evening, but we're going to head on now towards F2, because obviously now that we've revealed F1, we've got to reveal, of course, the next one, which is of course F2. So we'll make our way over to this one as well. Let's read this out. Number 1 is Simo. Number 2, Ash Best. Number 3, Shazoo Wouters. Number 4, Shazoo Recon. Number 5, IGK Gill. With number 6, TTG Hadler. Number 7, V Fabi. Number 8 is Lars Kramer. Number 9 is Benny. We got 10, CC Brain. Number 11 is Suku. Number 12 is Daniel. Number 13, Cornet. Number 14, Zizzle. Number 15, Karem. As well as number 16, we got Lewis. Number 17, Valentine. Number 18, we have Baraka. Number 19, Dezo. Number 20, Risa. And then in reserves, we've got VRT Eltink, as well as Netski, Cookie Games, and Iskew, as well as Obrock as well. Plenty of very, very good competitive names in F2. That looks very spicy indeed. I can already recognise the likes of IGK Gill, Ash Best, of course, V Fabi is known to be quick, Lars Kramer, known to be really, really strong on his day, Cornet as well, and Deso, and even in the reserve spots, Cookie Games is known to be quick too. So plenty to look forward to with this one, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got so much ex-F1 quality. I think the first 5 names, obviously Gil was a champion. The top 4 have all scored podiums in the top tier. Fabi as well, point scorer. CC Brain, podium in the top tier before. It's a great blend of experience. Got Ash Best, Valters, Recon, so let's say the more experienced guys who I think will put together a title charge, especially Valters and Simo. But then we've got the faster, upcoming rising stars like Kerem, Cornet, Suku, also Valentin as part of VRT, who's meant to be a hot prospect as well. So I think we've got a good blend of, let's say, experience, but also really fast drivers as well. So I think it is a good test. Like, if you can beat a Simo, and a Valters, then there's no reason why you can't be in F1. So yeah, it's a good blend, and I'm really excited to see the action. So yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, again, very competitive. And Mark, obviously a lot of these now will be almost biting and scrapping to try and get into the top tier, certainly for future seasons. So, and against a very, very tight-knit grid such as this, you're not going to get it much closer than this, are you really? And as we've said before, that extra spice of a prospect of a promotion up to a higher tier, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And these drivers are going to be hungry for more, I think, after this season, aren't they?
Oh yes, I mean there's so much quality on this grid. Pretty much the majority, particularly in the first sort of 10 names, have all got top tier experience. Ash Best, famously won the top tier championship back in season 19, which was the first time the championship was decided on win back, because Aspes had an incredible second half of the season that year, and that was at the time a viewing records and a very dramatic title battle at Suzuka, which was very fitting. And Aspes, he's still got good speed, but yeah, I think the writing had been on the wall for him for a while in terms of the top tier. He's sort of clung in there, but I think he's just been sort of dragged down to F2, but he can certainly still on his day pull out some good results. But yeah, some of the names that Connor mentioned certainly are the ones to watch, I think. But I think the two Zhizhou guys, they had some good performances at the time in the top tier, so it wouldn't surprise me if the Zhizhou guys ended up being up there. And I think Gil, he won the championship in such dramatic fashion, but then just couldn't, as he made adjustments to his setup, just couldn't quite keep that level. So if he's put the work in, then he could be back in the top tier in the near future. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see whether they can step up to the platform and try and lift off. It's going to be absolutely brilliant to catch those out on track, folks, and certainly it's a pleasure to be bringing these to you as well. I mean, naturally, there's a lot for us to go through, and we want to give these drivers the utmost respect and give them the equal time that they deserve as well. But I'm pleased to obviously looking back at those tiers, we can now look ahead to the PC Championship, folks, and we've got two tiers to bring you from that, which include the Tier 2 and the Tier 1, of course. I mean, there's nothing that separates these two tiers. Both of them carry Tier 1 potential drivers. But I have to say, we are going to be, we're very fortunate, firstly, to have Lucas Blakely joining us in the commentary box, and certainly a pleasure to have him on board. Lucas, sorry to keep you waiting, but welcome to this Placements broadcast, and excellent to have you here.
Much. Thanks for having me in the first place. But yeah, it's good to be here, I guess. And yeah, it's I don't know what to say really. I'm just yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously you've had a great pre-season already. We've commentated on the Esports Invitationals, 2 wins on the spin with 2 pole positions. You're in probably the form of your life right now as well, which helps. Certainly heading into a brand new season. We're certainly looking potentially to see the most competitive grid in league racing history, and does that ramp up the pressure at all? Do you feel confident heading into a season knowing that this is going to be pretty close to F1 esports?
It depends on how you look at it, to be honest, because the pressure probably would ramp up, but that also makes it much more exciting, because then it's really going to be so competitive. I mean, I don't even know what the full grid is going to be, but I already know it's going to be competitive just because of how insane the level is at the top flight of, sort of F1 esports level, league racing or just racing in general. It's just crazy, the level that it is. I mean, so it's definitely going to be fun to sort of get out on track and sort of ahead of an F1 esports season and, just, as you like to say, put the pedal to the metal and go for it. So, yeah, it's definitely just, I honestly, if I was to use one word, just be excited. Because it's, I mean, you touched on how, it's been a good start, but I mean, to be honest, I'm not really looking so far backwards. I'm sort of just looking forwards, because I'm just excited to have that racing feeling against everybody again, like the sort of fire to race against everyone, and especially as you say at this level. I mean, I feel like I'm quite repetitive with some of the things I say sometimes, but it's purely because of how it is, literally is how, it's so competitive as well. But yeah, I'm just massively excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we're all excited to see the tiers, of course, but we just obviously witnessed some of the PC guys and the PlayStation guys who are making up those early echelons, including the top tier of PlayStation. And, we've all been there before, or certainly the guys at esports have been there before, where they've started in league racing and worked their way up, sort of got into the game. This is a start of a journey for them as well, isn't it? And obviously you've witnessed that journey, getting from that sort of a situation, getting up to the top tiers to eventually be signed by an esports team. It's one hellacious journey, but what do they need? What utensils do they need to get to the top?
Well, if you're someone in leagues that is looking to get to the top, well, I mean, it's not going to come without a lot of hard work. I mean, albeit it's league racing as such, and it's not F1 esports, you need to treat it in some way, as much as possible, like esports. You need to put in the hard work, and you need to have a lot of self-belief, and that self-belief needs to carry you for what could literally be an entire year, until you get that opportunity again to be signed. Because if you're not signed 1 year, you need to then work for an entire year, not lose motivation, and work unbelievably hard. And as you say, work your way up the tiers, and test yourself in as many ways as possible against as best drivers as possible, because if you race against the best, naturally that level will only elevate you to push even harder and harder. So I mean, I don't think it's a secret in the fact that it's incredibly difficult, especially when you see just purely how close it is, especially when I keep saying especially, but when you look at, for example, an F1 Esports qualifying session and you see the gap, and actually not even an F1 Esports qualifying session, when you look at just a top flight league race, the gaps in qualifying, it's unbelievable how close it is. So you need to have all the ingredients with it, whether it's self-belief, determination, hard work, confidence, which is incredibly important. And you need to put all these ingredients together to, put it on track and, do it time and time again, and ultimately try and exploit the best performance out of yourself. And if you do all of these things right, then you've got a chance of getting a good result, because it's not a guarantee that if you do all these things right, it's an immediate recipe for success. It takes a lot of trial and error, and but what I will say is, if you want it bad enough, then you will go to the ends of the earth to make things possible. So, it's all about, it's just about grit and determination. I know it sounds very almost generic, but the reason these things are repeated so much in different fields or racing or anything in general is because it's factually correct. You just have to have these qualities and sort of passions to, ultimately get to where you want to be in the end up, basically. So yeah, if you put everything you've got into it, then ultimately that's all you can do at the end of the day. So you've just got to go as far as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've certainly proven that to certainly get where you are today, and I'm sure that many will want to do the same. I know that everyone in the live chat is desperate to see the PC tiers. In fact, they're telling me to hurry up at the moment, Lucas. So we're gonna crack on, I think. But no, great to have you with us, Lucas. I'm not sure whether you want to stay till afterwards or whether you have places to be, but we can reconvene afterwards. Whether you want to, sort of review what the top tier is looking like afterwards.
To be honest, I could chill for a little bit longer, so I can chill. It's all good.
Excellent. Well, folks, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. I know you've all been waiting for this. Let's head over now and take a look at the PC F2 tier as we make our way over. Certainly, it's going to be very spicy. You've all been looking forward to this. And as we get ready to go, PC F2, here we go. Number 1, Lewis Welch. Number 2, Dylan Warren. Number 3, Ruben Vallejo. Number 4, Tom Martinez. Number 5, Chana Kinchi. Number 6, Antoine Desalewski. Number 7, Andreas Dormeyer. Number 8, Yari Fitz. Number 9, CRG Smasher. Number 10, Hawk. Number 11, Puerto Stachelek. Number 12, Shazoo Risky. Number 13, Ruben Pedreño. Number 14, Ulas Ozyildirim. Number 15, Oscar Villacampa. Number 16, TF10 Boehner. Number 17, VRT Norbert. Number 18, Shazoo Get Owned. Number 19, Shazoo Ace. And number 20, Shazoo Neon. And we have reserves that are made up with Samuel Bean, Christian Hausmann, Sink Christian Sendel, Floris Viers, and Joshua Kazani. Wow, what a spicy grid, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolutely insane grid. Like Lewis Welch, Ruben Vallejo, Tom Martinez, Antoine Desalewski. Sorry about that. All sorts of quality. I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for the likes of Ruben, especially, who should be in F1, to be honest. Like, Ruben is an esports quality driver, and he should be in esports, to be honest with you, looking at some of the drivers, no offense, that are in esports. So, yeah, absolutely stacked. Like, it's absolutely, it's a great grid, isn't it, Mark?
Hello, Mark.
Hello? Oh.
Oh, sorry, man. You cut off before my name, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
we're about to
what
call
a
the
grid, Mark. What a grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I heard. Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's some absolutely fantastic names there. You got, Lewis Welch. That name always stands out for anyone who's watched PSGL over the years. 3-time PlayStation champion, probably the greatest pad player in PSGL history on the PlayStation side. And yeah, but I think he'll be very competitive in this big tier. But then you got Dylan Warren, Ruben Vallejo, very familiar names. Badreno. I mean, there's just so many great names here, and even some of the reserves I've commentated on in the past. Paris Burrell, Flores Wages. We've seen so many great drives from these guys. Flores in particular, it's definitely a qualifying specialist. So if he turns up as a reserve, he'll be well up there in terms of that grid. So really looking forward to seeing F2 and seeing if any of particularly some of the new guys on the Shizou side can sort of make that step up to F1 the following season. But another exciting bit of news, which I will leave to you to reveal, is a certain legendary commentator we're getting back for this tier this season.
Yeah. It's personally, I was delighted when I heard this. I mean, I know that you and I spoke, Connor, about this, and I was so excited. We can confirm, folks, and I did mention it earlier, King Kodiak, Chris Buxton, is going to be joining Dan Vatefield in the commentary box for this one. And I got to say, it's amazing to have him back, and great to have him here at PSGL, of course. He paved the way for many. I said this to him earlier. He won't let me say it, but I'm saying it anyway. He paved the way for many of us in the commentary scene in league racing, and it's a pleasure. It's incredible, but amazing to have not only the level of drivers, but obviously the production quality as well. So you've got a very good all-round sensation really in that tier. F2 does look absolutely sensational. I can already see Tom97 in the chat as well, obviously very excited to get stuff underway. I can imagine there's plenty of content for you to get cracking on with this one, Tom. I'd imagine still plenty of great drivers there as well that we saw last season competing at the top tier. Lewis Welch, of course, Dylan Warren, a great chance for him to turn up the heat. Ruben Vallejo, you touched on him as well, Connor, and I totally agree with you. We saw him beat actually Jana Watmir in WOR recently. He is definitely a top esports talent, isn't he?
He absolutely is. We could start him to the anyway, yeah, he's a top talent, and yeah, he's too late now, isn't it? But yeah, he's a top talent, great guy. I worked with him at BDG and Tau, so yeah, top talent. Like I say, should be in esports. And also great to see Tom involved. Had a lot of points finishes last season, so that's great as well. But I am disappointed that Joe Hannon, oh my god, it's Joe, didn't sign up, or let's say complete his sign up in the end. So disappointing not to have Joe involved, but the quality speaks for itself. A lot of up and coming guys, and yeah, a great grid on the whole. So yeah, exciting stuff, but the best is yet to come, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think just to say before we move on to the next one, this one is going to be broadcasted separately from the top tier. So they will be seeing this one obviously on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. So it gets its own treatment, because anywhere else or in any other situation, this would be a top tier grid. So, excellent to have all these drivers on board. And I know that Chris and, King Kodiak, Chris Buxton and Dan Vatefield are going to be very excited to call this one. It's going to be very special, folks. But now the grand finale, and we've all been looking forward to this one. And I personally, myself and Jack Kinnan, we've had some amazing moments commentating together. This is going to be sensational. Naturally now, I've been commentating for over 2 and a bit years, folks, and it's been a pleasure to do it, and to certainly broadcast for all of you folks at home, all of you guys in the live chat who enjoy what we do here at PSGL and other leagues I've covered for that matter, but certainly here today, this is the big one, as somebody said in the live chat as well. So I want you to brace yourselves and come on, let's light up the live chat for this one, shall we? I want to see, are you ready to see this grid? I want to see some yeses with exclamation marks popping up in the live chat, guys. Come on, rip it up. I want you to see it. Come on, bang it. Come on, I want to see it. Come on, folks. I'm not doing it until you do it. So come on. Here we go. Here come the dots. That'll do. Come on. You ready? Here we go. Let's party like it's 1992, folks. Boom. Ta-da! Number 1 It's Mercedes. They've announced Jarno Opmeer and Danny Moreno to take part in this season of PSGL, the PC Championship, the second season, and the Flying Dutchman is back with the machine in the Black Arrow that is the Mercedes. Look forward to seeing them this season. Next up, we have Mclaren. Barry Burraman lines up alongside the rapid Welshman, that being Josh Idowu. Mclaren obviously looking to try and step up to the plate once again after Burraman's excellent effort in trying to close down the Flying Dutchman last season. Can he do it again this year? We'll have to wait and see. Can he go one better, should I say? Next on the list, it's Alpine, and look at these two juggernauts of the world of esports. Fabrizio Donoso, who took Brendan Lee all the way back in 2017, could not quite do it on the day, but after his first win in PSGL on the PC Championship side in the social race that we had on the Esports Invitational at Silverstone, he certainly looks in rude health. Nicholas Longay also looking very formidable in the Alpine as well. Alpine have plenty of reasons to be excited about this season, and certainly we're looking forward to seeing whether they can do just that. Next up, it's Williams, and we've got these these very special candidates from this team. Of course, Alvaro Carreton, winner of the certainly the race at Brazil, where we saw Jarno Opmeer take the World Drivers' title. Carreton was there to take the actual win on the day at Brazil. He's lined up alongside with Michael Romanidis, of course, part of F1 Esports' Williams roster, and we'll look forward to seeing how he gets on as well. Still plenty to look forward to from Williams' point of view, that's for sure. Second in last year's championship. Alfa Romeo lining up with two very, very good drivers. Esports veterans, I go as far to say, because they've both taken part previously. Simon Weigang, who was in the Haas team for a couple of seasons alongside Cedric Tomei, is lining up alongside Philip Prejnader, who of course was with Ferrari last season, did win the Belgian Grand Prix in the PSGL PC Championship last season, partnering, of course, Tom Martinez, who's taking part in F2 this season. So it'd be very interesting to see if he can garner some newfound fabled form in this new team at Alfa Romeo. Very, very much looking forward to seeing how these two get on. Alfa Romeo, of course, have been promoting these two very heavily on their social media, and I think they have every reason to be excited, don't you? Aston Martin and Lucas Blakely, who is with us obviously in the commentary box, is lining up alongside his esports teammate Shanaka Clay, and certainly Aston Martin in very rude health right now, certainly after Lucas picked up 2 victories in the Esports Invitationals consecutively. His only 2 appearances in PSGL, and he managed to scoop up 2 victories and 2 pole positions to boot. The man in form currently this season. We're looking forward to seeing what he does heading into a brand new season, and certainly Shanaka Clay, who has also been absolutely relentless in pre-season. They've certainly got a lot to look forward to, and I'd certainly bank on an improvement on 7th place last season. It's going to be very, very special. Next up, we have Alfred Sarri, and take a look at this. Joni Tormala joins the grid for the very first time here at PSGL after he made his first appearance recently, of course, in the Esports Invitational, lining up alongside Sebastian Job, who, of course, part of the Red Bull family as well, and certainly lining up for Alfred Sarri too. Both of them as well, esports veterans. Of course, Sebastian Job successful in the Porsche Carrera Cup. He is now here in this season of PSGL. Look forward to seeing how he gets on as well. It's going to be a very tasty season for them for sure. Next up is Red Bull, and we have Tomek Parajic, the man who was giving Jarno Opmeer a hard time in the Esports Invitationals, lining up alongside G2 Freddy. That's right, Freddy Rasmussen, Formula E Accelerate champion, is lining up now alongside the pole here for Red Bull. It's going to be very special for this very, very auspicious PSGL Championship. I tell you what, you're all going to be very excited for this one, folks. It's going to be a cracker. Let's see where Red Bull can plant that car. I certainly expect it to go higher than 9th from last season, that's for sure. Looking ahead, we also have the Ferrari team, Nicolas Matteo, who has been lighting things up as well. Remember, he took victory at Monza last season when he was partnered up alongside Alvaro Carreton and won that auspicious, that Cinderella story of an Italian Grand Prix. He's lining up alongside Domenico Lavecce, and certainly plenty to look out for this team. 5th last season, of course. Remember, they were made up of Tom Martinez and, of course, Philip Prejnader. Can Domenico Lavecce and Nicolas Matteo go any step further? We'll have to wait and see. Both of them very tenacious drivers on their day. We'll look forward to seeing how they get on. It's going to be very spicy indeed. Looking forward as well, Haas lining up with Jake Benham with his official lined up seat here alongside Cedric Tomei. So Jake Benham joining an official PSGL F1 grid, making part of the roster, the one that we haven't heard yet to be signed to an F1 esports team. Unsigned Jake Benham. We'll have to wait and see how he gets on against some of the veterans of the sport. Certainly Cedric Tomei, a relentless character who has shown some incredible form in the seasons leading up to this. It's been a very special time for Cedric, and we look forward to seeing how he garners, or certainly how he progresses in this brand new season of PSGL. He certainly has a lot of potential. And these, of course, are the reserves that we have for this upcoming season, and plenty of talent stacked in amongst the best of them here. Ben Charbot Cogny, of course, measured up alongside Samuel Lebert, as well as Patrick Seidpos, actually signed to Alpine and took pole position in the very first esports invitational at Silverstone. Daru Yamulo as well, a very tenacious character. Thyman Shooter signed to Sauber Esports as well as Alessio Di Capua. How many great performances did he bring to the table last season in the Williams, of course. Valentin Brufair, another hard taskmaster from last season, who took certainly many to the very end and very much challenged for points. And what a grid that is, folks. I have to say, you really bore witness to a certainly magical array of talent, and we'll look forward to seeing how these guys get on. But Connor, how about that for a grid?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, well done for going through that for so long. Fair play. Well done, George. But yeah, what a grid. 17 of the drivers in the actual main grid are actually going to be likely or expected to be, hopefully, in the esports series. I was looking at all these talented reserves. We've got Valentin Brufo, who's obviously on the PlayStation. He's like Alessio. Podium at every race he did. Last season in PC. Thyman, also a great PlayStation driver. Dario. Patrick's part of the Alpine team, already confirmed. Samuel Lebert's been linked with the Haas team for the actual esports season as well. So an absolutely mega grid. So many talented drivers, but also Nicolas, Matteo, Tomek, and Jake Benham deserve a lot of credit as well. Like, they're not, let's say, in esports or anything like that. Obviously, Tomek's a development driver, but they've certainly got the pace, they've got the talent. And that's why I was desperate to get these guys in, because I didn't just want it to be a closed shop of just esports, or let's say, like used to be esports drivers. You know, I wanted the best of the best. And I think Jake, Nico, and Tomek fit into that category. So yeah, exciting. It's going to be full qualifying, 7 p.m. on Thursdays with George and Jack, and yeah, Mark, it's just going to be absolutely thrilling.
Yeah, I mean, it's going. I mean, the PC in such a short time has become, you know, the most sort of prominent league in PSGL. That is for sure. I mean, you got the talent there. The names speak for themselves. We've seen them. I mean, it's for me personally. Not even that long ago, in some other reputable leagues, I was seeing the likes of Lucas, Jarno, Danny, and Barry all battling each other in some of the best like PlayStation races I've ever seen in those particular tiers. And now they're all battling it out at the very highest level in esports, and I just can't wait, because you know, last season obviously was incredible, as we saw with the CC Brain stuff, and that series will continue. But I think this grid is even more stacked than that one. I think it's going to be, every race is going to be ferociously fought over for the victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was such a great finale. And Barry Burremand as well showed all his potential, of course. Did not race in the Esports Pro Series last season, but he came in to this, certainly this PSGL PC Championship, and he really did light things up, certainly taking the early victories, of course, in the Championship. And I've got to say, a few people were saying, you know, has he got Jarno Opmia's number this season? There was talk that maybe Barry might have the answer, but I have to say, Jarno came back, signed with Mercedes. It almost like he picked up an extra gear on top of what he already had, and joined by Danny Moreno. They were a relentless teammate partnership, taking the championships, and you know, you'd be silly to write them off so early on as well. But looking across this grid order though, and I'm going to bring you back in as well, Lucas, if you're still with us, of course, in the commentary box. I mean, just looking at a grid like that, I mean, God, just makes your mouth water, doesn't it?
It's pretty insane just to see how many esports drivers are here as well. It's like, as I said earlier, it's just exciting to see this many people in the grid. I mean, I've been talking to my Twitch chat while, you know, you guys have been discussing it as well, and it's just, I mean, the hype is sort of just, the hype's pretty much everywhere. It's just crazy. Just to see this, I don't know, this, I almost want to say prestige of drivers, I guess, to, you know, every single race that we're going to have this season is going to be fought to the, you know, tooth and nail because of the caliber that we have. It's going to be so competitive. So yeah, I mean, it makes it really exciting as a driver, as opposed to look at it, because you know that you already know without even having started that we're going to have some really good battles, really good fights for wins and stuff, in almost every single race. So it's just hype. There's nothing else to say. It's just hype.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen anything like this in league racing before yourself, Lucas? Obviously, based on what you've seen in the past, has there anything ever come close to this?
Not even. Probably not even remotely close. I mean, I don't, unless I have a terrible memory, which I probably do. But the honestly, to see this many, as I said, like this many esports drivers in one place, is, I mean, it's just full hats off to PSGL for putting everything together with it, because it's I mean, I don't know what to say. It speaks for itself, to be honest. Like, to have this many drivers that want to come here and race, and I don't know, it's just crazy. Like, to think, when you had the league races and stuff in the past where, F1 esports was a thing, if you were to say back then that you would have, I think Connor said 17 expected or signed esports drivers or something like that, that's quite a lot of people out of 20. So, yeah, I mean, I find it quite hard to put words to it, but it's just that whole prospect of it is just really exciting, because I can already tell we're gonna that. As I say, every race is going to be action packed. It's always going to be a thrill. It's always going to be close, and I mean, it makes the prestige of the league, if you like, just phenomenally high, like higher than probably anything that's been seen in the past. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's so exciting. Honestly, I don't know what else to say to it. It's just exciting to see.
I'm sure just hearing those words that Connor is grinning like a Cheshire cat right now, I have to say. I bet he is. You've made his day, Lucas, I have to say. But yeah, no, is there any looking at that grid order now, Lucas, is there any main threat, any main danger that you can point out straight away?
We see every single driver on the grid, potentially. I don't know. Like, that is an impossible question to answer.
That's very diplomatic of you, Lucas.
No, but seriously, like, everyone on this grid could, if they put in a performance, has the potential to be fighting for a win. So it's insane. Like, every single guy on this grid, if they put in their best effort, can be fighting for a win. I mean, I think that's just. When you look at the grid, it might sound like quite a bold statement, but when you actually look, when you see, the amount of drivers that are in here that are, incredible talent, that, it's not actually that hard to imagine. Because, I mean, qualifying's going to be so close, that'll be a nightmare to drive when your heart rate's through the roof and you're, 1/10 is the difference between, many, many, many grid positions. So, yeah, I mean, to be a bit more specific, I guess, because, I mean, I was very broad with my assessment there, but yeah, I mean, you're obviously going to have Jarno and Barry from last season, who are, I mean, they've been around PSGL before, they know the sort of scene. I mean, it's familiar territory for them. I mean, you've got Freddie Rasmussen, who's arguably, I mean, if you're to talk of sim racers, it's actually very hard to think of someone that's faster than Freddie. The guy is incredible, just across anything he jumps on. It's like genuinely insane. So, I mean, you can never ever discount Freddie. And yeah, I mean, there's just, I could honestly say this, like, go through every single driver and tell you why they're good, though. That's why it's so tricky to not be general, because honestly, the level is insane. So yeah, I mean, what you're probably going to see this year is, you're going to have a driver, say, a driver could win one race, and then the next race they can be 10th, but it won't even be because they've had, like, a terrible performance. It's just because they're going to be how tight and how fine the margins are going to be this year. And, it'll be interesting to see if anyone's able to, like, punch above that sort of mould and be able to consistently be at the front. So, yeah, I mean, it's just insane to think how far league racing has came in this sense, to the fact that we're never actually sitting here looking at a grid that's made up of so many drivers that that have been around for so long and are of F1 esports, caliber and or are in F1 esports. So yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. To think when I started league racing to have thought back then where it would be now, it's absolutely crazy. So, honestly, I mean, I struggle. I feel like I ramble a lot, but I mean, I struggle to think much more to say to it. I just think it's. I mean, if
fantastic,
there's
isn't it?
anyone watching that's unsure of watching, then I mean, I don't think you should be unsure. You should be tuning in.
Yeah, no,
Because
absolutely.
it's going to be so insane.
You cannot miss
It's gonna be
Thursdays,
insane.
can you? You can't miss Thursdays, can you? It's just it's going to have to become a ritual, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, looking at this as well, though, just another quick one as well, Lucas, just based on the young talents that we've got here as well. Some of the unsigned drivers, of course, you've got Nicholas Matteo there, Domenico Levecce, the likes of as well Tomek Parajic, who is actually signed to McLaren, but he's young, and at the same time he's got a point to prove. And what about the likes of Jake Benham as well? All these young names who are looking to make a name for themselves, certainly in the world of esports. This is a great opportunity for them, isn't it, to really show what they can do?
Absolutely. I mean, it literally is a golden opportunity for them, because if they grasp it with both hands and they put in consistent top-level performances, then literally everyone will notice. So, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned the three. I mean, Tomek's obviously a junior driver for McLaren, and he's shown as well that he's, of massive talent. You've got Nico and you've got Domenico, who I believe they had. I can't remember what the results were like for them in the social races, but yet again, I mean, going through the history of previous seasons, they're always going to be fighting up there as well. So, and then I believe I think you called him the All-Star, but Jake Benham as well. He was like, when you mentioned the age factor, I mean, I'm, what age am I now? 20. So, I mean, literally, I've had people say to me, and you'd be surprised, I've had people say to me, slapping my age in my face, saying how it's a reason for why you're not this and why you're not that. And I just love it when young people do well, just to shove that ridiculous theory somewhere where the sun doesn't shine, to be honest, because it's literally, it's such a lot of BS, if you don't mind me saying. I'm not going to swear or anything, but age doesn't define the talent. I mean, no. I don't know why that's such a thing. So when you see Jake Benham doing so well, for example, in Spa, I mean, you said I think he's 15 years of age, and that just yet again shows that it literally has no bearing. So
no,
I'm certainly, if I was to be on a side of it, I'm absolutely for the younger generation doing well and showing why it isn't a limitation. I mean, people use the age as, oh, you're immature because of your age, you're inexperienced because of your age, but yet again, your age doesn't have a bearing on these things. You can be young and have the maturity of someone years ahead of you. So honestly, I love having that mixture of seasoned veterans and young youthfuls, if you like, that are in this league. And that's yet again another reason why this league is so good, because you have such a diverse range of people from different league racing backgrounds, if you like, whether they're, as I say, seasoned veterans, or whether they're the next sort of big thing, if you like. So yeah, I absolutely love it when you have this sort of thing in the leagues, and I look forward to sort of seeing how that goes, because if you perform against this level of a grid, it gets noticed. So definitely a golden opportunity for these guys, and it's just about grabbing it with both hands and running.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to look forward to seeing it as well. Certainly myself and Jack Canan are going to look forward to commentating on it as well. It's going to be very thrilling. And Lucas, I'm going to wish you the very best of luck. It's been incredible having you on board here today for this presentation show of the league placements, and we really valued your insight into today. And obviously, we'll look forward to seeing you for the very first race of the season. It's going to be a classic.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for having me as well. I mean, it's been a pleasure. So thank you again. I've been very repetitive this evening, I must say, but
no, you've been very insightful.
For having me, and no problem at all. Anytime, I've enjoyed it, which is why I stayed around. I didn't just stay around for no reason. I enjoy it. I love talking about this sort of stuff because I'm genuinely passionate about it. So I very much look forward to next week. Absolutely. So thanks for having me, and great job again to PSGL for putting this together, because this is something that, as I've said, if you were to look a few years ago, it would have seemed impossible. So, keep smashing the barriers, knocking the barriers down with how far you can push league racing. So, full credit to you all, great work, hard work, etc. And thanks for having me again. So have a good night, everyone watching, and tune in next Thursday because you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Lucas, for joining us. Lucas Blakely, everybody, from Aston Martin. And I have to say, we're going to look forward to that. And I think you just invented the tagline for you there, Connor, for the league, for the future, certainly. PSGL, where the impossible is possible. Certainly, it's all possible here at PSGL, isn't it, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's been another incredible night, really. The viewers, just the reaction we've had, the grid we've put together. It's just been, I'm out of words, really. Like he says, like a few years ago, PSGL was laughed at, frowned at. To be honest, it was a bit of a meme in on F1 2018 with some of the driving standards that we had. So, yeah, anything is possible if you put your heart into it and put a lot of effort into it. So yeah, I'm very grateful for you guys for being here. Myself, obviously, all the work we've put in, Krypton, Jake, Mako, everyone, it's just been insane. And the greatest thing is that the best is yet to come. So it's going to be bigger and it's going to be better, I can assure you. So yeah, that's all I've got to say, I think.
Well, just to round things off before we go, obviously, just so the folks at home all know, when does this all kick off? When is the first event happening for us, Connor?
It's starting next Wednesday with our PC tier, so that's PC F2 to F5. And obviously Thursday night we'll have the big one with F1, and also we'll have our lower PlayStation tiers, and obviously Sunday, then Monday we'll have our other PlayStation tiers, and it'll be Bahrain, and obviously Bahrain, one of the best modern tracks for racing. So exciting, and yeah, just can't wait to get in a party with some of my friends and watch Thursday night and the PC action.
Excellent. And Mark, I take it you're going to be some final thoughts from yourself as well. You must be really excited to really get stuck into the whole PlayStation side of the top tiers. Just give us some thoughts on what we've just seen.
I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, so many great drivers, all gathered from every corner of the PlayStation and the PC tiers. I mean, PSGL has never been stronger in terms of the depth of talent they have available. I mean, you see those PC tiers, the names, everyone knows them. Anyone who watches the esports series, all very familiar. I can't wait for it all to kick off. I mean, every race week is going to be so exciting. Every tier from the top to the bottom is going to be really well followed passionately. I mean, some people watching might be wondering about some of those tiers that were not mentioned tonight. They will be revealed on social media for PSGL at a later stage, so don't worry about those. I mean, that's probably where I would be. I'm certainly nowhere near F5 level these days. I don't think I ever was, to be fair. But yeah, I think particularly on the PC side, the top 3 tiers are going to be must-watches, I think, from a completely neutral standpoint. There's going to be some sensational action there, some really excellent commentary teams on that side. And yeah, the PlayStation side, that feels like a homecoming for myself. I mean, the fact that Blizzard and Gamer are still there. The last time I was on F1 on the PlayStation side was way back in season 21. The fact that they're still racing is pretty nice. There's a bit of familiarity, a bit of continuity there. I mean, I was commentating time on Blizzard's first championship. Who knows? It might be a third championship for him this season. But yeah, I think you look at the creative talents we have behind the scenes, the quality of the admins, the stewards that we have. I think everything is, it's an absolute machine all round at the moment, and we just have to keep that momentum going. There's still a long ways to go, a lot of things to learn, but I think we can all agree that the excitement is, building to a crescendo right now, and we just want it to start and let the racing do the talking. So that's going to be fantastic all around.
Yeah, totally agree. And I have to say, folks, make sure that you're all tuned in for it. If you haven't done so already, folks, you need to smash the subscribe, because certainly you want to stay up to date with all those races when they go live. Make sure you hit it, and also hit a like as well onto this video if you've enjoyed the stream and all the reveals. It's been special bringing this to you here tonight, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. If you want to check out Premier Sim Gaming Leagues, PSGL, on Twitter, that's at Premier Sim GL. You can also check me out on Twitter as well. I am at George Morgan TV. That's George Morgan TV. Connor and Mark, hit us up now with your Twitter tags, if you please.
At _ Big C _ 019, and obviously Premier Sim GL for the PSGL stuff.
And how about yourself, Mark?
Mine is at It's Alimonda.
Yeah, so make sure you check them out as well, folks. Flood their DMs and their inbox. They'll love it. I have to say, folks, we're looking forward to the start of the brand new PSGL season, the second season on PC, but many seasons on PlayStation. We're going to rewrite history yet again here at Premier Sim Gaming Leagues. We'll see you there for the off. Do take care of yourselves, and let's put pedal to the metal. It's time to go, 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 go. We'll see you then. Goodbye.